FM 94, The Dark. It is that time again. It's time to get to know a band we play here on The Dark. And on the phone right now, I'm talking to the guitarist of a band called Revolve. That is Deb Barlow. And Deb, first of all, thanks for joining me. And where are you calling from today?
Thanks for having me. I'm calling from Springfield, Virginia tonight, actually.
Very cool, very cool. And obviously, we've been playing your song Stranded. I've looked back since April here on the airwaves. And we want to know a little bit more about the band Revolve, and how did this band all come about, Deb?
Well, my hubby, who's actually the other guitar player in the band, he and I wrote these slew of songs and decided we wanted to, co-write with Clint Lowry of Seven Dust and send him out some stuff. And then we recruited vocalist Tommy Michaels from the New Jersey area, and then we got together, wrote a bunch of songs, and then got Ryan from iEmpire on drums, and we went to the studio and just laid everything down, and history wrote itself.
Very
so
cool.
It was a cool experience to go in and do this from scratch, and then just kind of have the band come together through that experience.
Deb, I've talked to a lot of bands, and I like to talk to a lot of up-and-coming bands, new bands, because obviously you need to get some exposure. The one name, though, I've heard a lot out there with these bands is Clint Lowry from Seven Dust, and he just must really embrace new music. Am I right on that?
He does. I mean, he absolutely does, and he loves putting his hands on, on different projects and just getting good music out there, too. And he's an absolute gem to work with.
What is it like to work with Clint? Obviously, we know him from Seven Dust. I know him from some other bands and stuff, too, that he's worked with. But what's it like actually spending a little bit of time with him, and what have you learned from him?
Man, he's really laid back, and most musicians and bands are kind of intimidated at first, but I've known him for a while, at least 10 years. And but musically, he is just an extremely talented all-around musician, singer, songwriter, producer. I mean, we're all in awe of him in the studio. He's just absolutely amazing. And
obviously, he's had a lot of success, and I believe he has a brother too that's now in Saint Asonia. Am I correct on that?
Yes. Actually, his brother Corey Lowry is the bass player for Saint Asonia.
Right. So obviously, once again, of course, Saint Asonia probably doesn't need a lot of help because they have the former lead singer of 3 Days Grace, Adam Gontier, there, and Mike Munchak, and the likes of others too. But it's nice to see artists out there, and even though we have the Sideshow Countdown here with Nikki Sixx, obviously of 6am and Motley Crue, and he's a big supporter of new music. And that's the one thing that sometimes is difficult. Radio stations like myself, we actually like to play new music, but in some of the bigger markets, it's tough to break in, isn't it, Deb?
It's so tough, and I can't thank you enough for for going above and beyond and actually investing in new bands and new music. It's just it's not that common, and we've been, since the record came out in April, we've been I've been pounding the pavement because we're pretty much a do-it-yourself band. So having Clint's name on the record obviously helps a lot, but it's still work. It's work. It's a lot of work. So we appreciate you.
Well, we're trying to help you out as much as you can. I mean, I've been around the business a little bit back in the day. The old college radio. That's kind of how I've kind of taken this job a little bit, and they've let me do that, kind of the old college radio format when we're getting CDs across, from Alice in Chains, Nirvana, and that. Nobody knew who these were, and then all of a sudden, they become the next big stars, and for that matter, go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So maybe one day, you never know, Revolve might even be there.
We can only hope.
Absolutely,
only hope.
Hey, let's talk.
One of the things I wanted to mention, you had talked about Saint Asonia, is where we have plans to be on a couple of shows locally here in the tri-state area with them. So we're super excited about that.
That is awesome, and that helps too. You need to get some of these bands that have a little bit of a pub out there and kind of tag along with them so you get noticed. Isn't that correct?
Right. the name of the game.
It is. And I got to believe, though, for you guys, the most satisfaction is having people come up to you maybe after a show and say, oh, that was awesome. I'm really digging you, and I'm going to follow you from here on out.
Yeah, man, I got to say the response to the new record has been really great, and we're so appreciative of that. I'm so happy people dig it, and we've had a couple of shows out since it came. A couple of shows with Nonpoint and Art of Dying since the record came out, and it's just it's been awesome. It's been great so far.
We're talking with a guitarist from the band Revolve, Deb Barlow. Deb, let's talk about the name Revolve. How did you guys come up with the name, and why did it stick with the band?
In all honesty, Tommy came up with that name, and it's just something that, the world of music is always revolving. Styles are always revolving. Bands are always revolving, and I think that's where that was close to his heart. And I just really love the name and the logo, and I was like, that's it. That's our name. It's really cool.
Very cool. Hey, how about music background for you, Deb? Back in the day when you were a kid, what did you listen to? What did you kind of grow up? Maybe what influenced you to be in this kind of band today?
I've been playing guitar for a long time, and as a kid, my dad was in a band. He was a guitar player for a band, and his band toured all over the place. And, just watching him and listening to, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, White Snake, those type of bands, Van Halen, all of that. I just took all of that in. And then eventually when I turned probably 16, I joined my dad's band, and him and I just started writing, and that's where the writing aspect of things came in. And I'd probably say my dad's probably my, biggest influence.
You mentioned,
yeah.
That's cool.
So very cool background, I thought,
You mentioned writing and stuff, and obviously I gotta believe you're doing writing here with Revolve. What kind of urges you to make and write the music that you guys have been doing?
When we're in a room together, I think whatever situation we're going through in life in general will set up an inspiration or a spark, and we just we go from there. We definitely want good, solid rock songs. I don't think we're trying too hard. We don't try too hard. I think we've been very fortunate with this record that the writing just flowed on this record, and we just hope to continue that momentum.
Very cool. Hey, how about here's some questions personally for you. What current band in active rock are you really digging right now? Do you really like?
What kind of band in active rock do I really like? I really like a Storm.
Okay.
I dig them a lot.
Yep, the Brooks Brothers. We had them on here about 6 months ago or so.
Yeah, Matt's a great guy, man. Matt's really, really cool.
How about a band maybe I haven't heard of yet that you could turn me on to? Is there one, obviously you're on the East Coast scene there, so there's a lot of bands and that maybe haven't got a lot of recognition. Is there somebody that you know of that should get on the radio maybe?
There's a band in our area. They're a young group of kids out of Frederick Rock School that are called Bad Seed Rising.
Ah, I've heard of them actually. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a pretty bright future. they're incredible live, and they have this energy, and they're just they're young and they're hungry and they're ready.
Very cool. Very cool. Hey, how about if you had to put together a 3-band bill? So it's Revolve playing with 2 other bands, kind of your ultimate band bill, who you'd like to be out with on a tour or something. Who would those other 2 bands be?
Well, I've always wanted to go out on the road with Seven Dust, and we're actually hoping that happens this fall.
Okay.
But I would have to say definitely Seven Dust and Nonpoint.
Very cool. And you actually played with Nonpoint before, you said, right?
Yeah, man. They're a great group of guys too, and they're incredible live.
Fair. Speaking of live, what do you guys like when you're out live?
We just try to bring the energy, try to bring the best, possible show, give it 110% live, bring the music, we want you to hear what's on the record live, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's the one thing, if you go to, let's say, pop music to rock music, I don't like to always bring in pop, but a lot of that stuff is so much done in a studio, and when the actual artist gets out and does it live, it doesn't even sound like them. With the rock side of things, for the most part, most rock artists are true to form, aren't they?
I think every band that I've seen, recently has stuck true to form. I think there are some bands that, bring in the samplers and all that kind of fun stuff, which there's nothing wrong with that either. But, I think Seven Dust are the kings of what you see is what you get.
Right. Absolutely. We're talking with Deb Barlow. She's a guitarist of the band Revolve. Have you been to Minnesota ever yet to play?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
Hoping to get down there this fall or winter on a tour.
Okay. And are there some tour plans? You'd mentioned, obviously you'd like to be out maybe with Seven Dust at some time. Are there some tour plans coming up?
There's nothing confirmed, but there's a ton of balls in the air. So we're just trying to, figure out what's going on. I know that the next gig that we have out right now is we're on a bill with Shinedown, In This Moment, Breaking Benjamin, Shaman's Harvest, a ton of really cool bands. We're playing in Syracuse, New York, July 25th.
Wow, that's cool. That sounds like a pretty hard-hitting lineup there. Should be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a good time, and it's if you want to look it up, it's K-Rockathon 20.
Okay, cool. What have you learned, I guess, from other bands out there so far? I mean, have some bands helped you out, obviously with Clint and Seven Dust and Nonpoint? What are some of the things that the bands have helped you out with? And in fact, even you, as you mentioned, you helping out your dad back in the day in the band. So what did you learn kind of growing up, just being in a band? What's it like?
You've just got to do work. I mean, as much as it is fun, it's also, if you want to do this long term, it's work. You just got to do work. You've got to go out there. You've got to, promote. Support other bands, because if you support other bands, they'll support you. And that I think is probably the biggest thing I can tell any band out there right now is just go out, see a live show, buy merch. I mean, even other bands, just go out there and just support.
Yeah, that is huge, and especially for the fans out there listening now. It doesn't even matter if it's a Revolve concert or anybody, but these artists, they want you to come out, buy a ticket to the show, and then obviously buy those T-shirts, buy that swag, because that's how you make your money, isn't it?
It is, sure is.
And hopefully that'll happen even more and more. One thing I want to ask you: have you heard your songs on the radio at all?
We have. We're very fortunate in our area here in Baltimore that 98 Rock does spin us quite often, and so we have heard it on the radio before.
So, having heard your song on the radio, what does it mean to you to hear that song on the radio?
It's, for me personally, I can't answer for the rest of the band, but for me personally, it's a sense of accomplishment. That I'm on the right path, doing something right. People are digging our stuff, and the station cares enough to put it on the radio.
Absolutely. We got just a couple more minutes here with Deb Barlow. She's the guitarist of the band Revolve. Here's a question that might maybe take an extra second or two. I ask this question to everybody that I've always interviewed. What artist would you like to cover one of your songs?
Shinedown.
Okay. And easy there. Which song would that be, you think? And I haven't heard a lot of your songs, but is there one in particular?
We have a song called Buried Alive. I'd love to hear them do Buried Alive.
All right, Buried Alive. I'm writing that down here.
This is one of my favorite vocalists.
Right.
As is my vocalist, Tommy Michaels. He's one of my favorite vocalists on the planet. So I just, I think that would be incredible.
Have you ever had a chance to meet up with Shinedown before?
Not yet. Like I said, we're playing with them in a couple of weeks.
Right.
So I'm super excited.
Well, maybe you should.
To meet them.
Maybe you'll have to ask Brent there to see if he'd be willing to do something like that. Just
Let's
say,
get past, hey, my name's Deb from Revolve first.
just say some loony guy in Minnesota said you should.
Crazy guy named James Hershey.
Yeah, exactly. He said, "Hey, play this song for us as a cover." Sure. Hey, Deb, let's get some more information about the band Revolve. How can people find out more information about you?
Okay, so we're on Facebook. We're Revolve official band.com, and then we're on Reverb Nation. It's Revolve Music. It's ReverbNation.com, Revolve Music. We're also our official site where you can check out snippets of our video is www.revolveofficial.com. We're on Twitter, and we have our new record, The Road to Here, is out now. It's on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play. It's on all things digital. And if you want hard copies, you can grab one at the show, or we have about that Big Cartel Revolve store.
Very cool, very cool. We're going to play your song Stranded here in just a moment. What's the story behind this song?
This song actually was another song. This song was another song, and we decided to totally scrap it and make it anew. And so we changed parts, and new vocals came in, new lyrics came in, and it almost actually got left off the record.
Wow!
And because we didn't know if we'd have enough time to record it. And it was crazy, and I just kept fighting for it to be on there. And Clint was like, "All right, let's just do an extra couple hours, let's put it on." And I am so glad that it's on there. I just can't even tell you. As far as the lyrics and the meaning to that, Tommy wrote the lyrics, and that's one of the reasons I would have loved to have him on here. But
right.
It's a special song for him.
Very cool. And how about a future release? Do you have another song in mind that you're going to be releasing into radio soon, or is that top
right
secret?
now we're just since it's so new still. We're actually getting ready to shoot a video for Stranded.
Okay.
But I think the next single, when the time is right, I think the next single is going to be Buried Alive.
All right, there we go, and then it'll be covered by Shinedown.
There you go.
That would be awesome. It'll go number one to the charts, and then Brent will go say, "You know what? I want to cover that song."
There you go. That's what we want to happen.
Absolutely. Hey, it's been a lot of fun talking to you. I wish you the best of luck, and hopefully you get a chance to make it up to Minnesota. And when you do, make sure you say hi to us and check us out up here, okay?
I definitely will, James. Thank you so much for having me on here.
Thank you very much. Once again, that is the guitarist from the band Revolve. That is Deb Barlow. Their latest song is called Strand. You're hearing it right now on FM 94.